Democrats' US Vice Presidential nominee Kamala Devi Harris. Is she pro-Pakistan and China? Well, the Democrats in United States of America have formally nominated Kamala Devi Harris as vice presidential candidate. That was with an eye on significant Indian diaspora vote bank is needless to say. The Democrats' decision, many political analysts feel, was only to checkmate the endorsement of majority Indian Americans who are awed or influenced by most popular Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Ever since Narendra Modi took over the reins as Prime Minister of India as the first non-Nehru Gandhi dynast, indeed brought around a sea change in India's foreign policy. While doing a balancing act with India's all-weather ally Russia, Modi, whose party enjoys absolute majority in parliament, did not hesitate to move closer to US, which hitherto was supposed to be left liberals. Added to that, Modi, who had also established himself as a rock star in whichever country he visited and addressed massive rallies of Indian diaspora, did not mince words when he declared at a rally last year during his US visit that ab ki baar Trump Sarkar. The massive success of that rally in US, in fact, kicked up a political row back home, where the Indian opposition objected and found fault with Modi for making such an appeal. That was on September 23rd last year in the Howdy Modi rally held in Houston, where 50,000 strong Indian Americans cheered both the leaders. Yes, overstepping the dignity and decorum of Prime Minister's office of yet another biggest democracy in the world.
Friends, this morning we have a very special person with us. He needs no introduction. His name is familiar to every person on the planet. His name comes up in almost every conversation in the world on global politics. His every word is followed by tens of millions. He was a household name and very popular even before he went on to occupy the highest office in this great country. From CEO to Commander-in-Chief, from boardrooms to the Oval Office, from studios to global stage, from politics to the economy and to security. He has left a deep and lasting impact everywhere. Today, he is here with us. It is my honor and privilege to welcome here in this magnificent stadium and magnificent gathering. And I can say, I had a chance to meet him often. And every time I found the friendliness, warmth, energy, the President of the United States of America Mr. Donald Trump.
And Modi-Trump's newfound love, in fact, had seen no barriers, especially during the last couple of years. And the Trump-headed US willingness to back India whenever it faces adversaries, especially the China, wags its tail and poses aggressive posture. This was evident from the recent Galwan skirmishes in Ladakh with expansionist China headed by its lifetime president Xi Jinping. US had also sent its nuclear warships in South China Sea just to warn China and that misadventure will not be allowed. In that backdrop, the poll surveys claim of Democrats' presidential candidate Joe Biden, who has a clear edge over Republicans Donald Trump in many provinces, yet the former would not like to ignore the fact that majority of the Indian Americans who were in considerable numbers to tilt the scales in some of the major provinces cannot be ignored. Hence, in a last-minute tactical move, the Democrats have brought in Kamala Devi Harris as its vice presidential candidate to confuse and split the Indian American voters who hitherto were influenced by the aura of Indian Prime Minister. And no sooner the party endorsed her name, Kamala Devi Harris had attempted to stir emotions and sentiments of gullible Indian American and black people, not only in USA but also all over the world, particular euphoria in her mother's home state of Tamil Nadu by her dual lineage.
Greetings, America. It is truly an honor to be speaking with you tonight. That I am here tonight is a testament to the dedication of generations before me, women and men who believed so fiercely in the promise of equality, liberty, and justice for all. This week marks the 100th anniversary of the passage of the 19th Amendment, and we celebrate the women who fought for that right. Yet so many of the black women who helped secure that victory were still prohibited from voting long after its ratification. But they were undeterred. Without fanfare or recognition, they organized and testified and rallied and marched and fought, not just for their vote, but for a seat at the table. These women and the generations that followed worked to make democracy and opportunity real in the lives of all of us who followed. They paved the way for the trailblazing leadership of Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. And these women inspired us to pick up the torch and fight on. Women like Mary Church Terrell, Mary Cloyd Bethune, Fannie Lou Hamer, and Diane Nash, Constance Baker Motley, and the great Shirley Chisholm. We're not often taught their stories, but as Americans, we all stand on their shoulders. And there's another woman whose name isn't known, whose story isn't shared, another woman whose shoulders I stand on, and that's my mother, Kamala Devi Harris. She came here from India at age 19 to pursue her dream of curing cancer. At the University of California, Berkeley, she met my father, Donald Harris, who had come from Jamaica to study economics. They fell in love in that most American way while marching together for justice in the civil rights movement of the 1960s. In the streets of Oakland and Berkeley, I got a stroller's eye view of people getting into what the great John Lewis called good trouble. When I was 5, my parents split, and my mother raised us mostly on her own. Like so many mothers, she worked around the clock to make it work, packing lunches before we woke up and paying bills after we went to bed, helping us with homework at the kitchen table and shuttling us to church for choir practice. She made it look easy, though it never was. My mother instilled in my sister Maya and me the values that would chart the course of our lives. She raised us to be proud, strong Black women, and she raised us to know and be proud of our Indian heritage. She taught us to put family first, the family you're born into and the family you choose. Family is my husband, Doug, who I met on a blind date set up by my best friend. Family is our beautiful children, Cole and Ella, who call me Mamala. Family is my sister. Family is my best friend, my nieces, and my godchildren. Family is my uncles, my aunts, and my chitties. Family is Mrs. Shelton, my second mother who lived 2 doors down and helped raise me. Family is my beloved Alpha Kappa Alpha, our Divine Nine, and my HBCU brothers and sisters. Family is the friends I turn to when my mother, the most important person in my life, passed away from cancer. And even as she taught us to keep our family at the center of our world, she also pushed us to see a world beyond ourselves. She taught us to be conscious and compassionate about the struggles of all people, to believe public service is a noble cause and the fight for justice is a shared responsibility. That led me to become a lawyer, a district attorney, attorney general, and a United States senator. And at every step of the way, I've been guided by the words I spoke from the first time I stood in a courtroom.
In fact, Kamala Devi Harris, as per polls, undeniably is heading to be the Vice President of the USA after January 2021. So, the Indian establishment has to brace itself to deal with anti-India American Indian on quite a few key issues, particularly her stand on Kashmir and cooperation with China on a range of issues. She, in her interview with the Council of Foreign Relations, had stated that she would seek to cooperate with China on a range of issues, including by seeking agreement on a path towards easing the environmental damage caused by global warming. Kamala Devi Harris, a lawyer and district attorney by education and profession, and first-time senator as a politician, she indeed excelled in her performance in the Senate, Intelligence, and various committees. One can therefore expect a hard-nosed vice president to deal with for the Indian establishment, considering her past views on India. US Democratic Party activists like Shekhar Narasimhan support her candidacy that would be seismic for the Indian American community. This is what he said, and I quote, "Why should Indian Americans not be proud of her? It's a signal that we are coming of age. She's a woman, she's biracial, she will help win the elections for Biden, she appeals to various communities, and she's really smart." Unquote. Will Harris impact diaspora funding more than voting? But none should forget that unity in Indian diaspora is also anathema. Call it vote bank politics in USA, Kamala Devi Harris is recalling her proud Indian heritage and how her mother always wanted her to understand where she had come from and where we had ancestry. But many view it as more of a political gimmick to win over the Indian diaspora. She did not stop there. Elaborating the deep influence of the Indian heritage on her, she had also invoked, and I quote, "In Madras, I would go on long walks with my grandfather, who at that point was retired. We would take morning walks where I'd hold his hand and he would tell me about the heroes who are responsible for the birth of the world's biggest democracy. Unquote. But irrefutable facts about her lineage are simple. Her mother's ancestry is Hindu Brahmin, highly conservative. Her father, P.V. Gopalan, was born in a Tamil Brahmin family in 1911 in Painganadu, a village in the erstwhile Tanjore district, Madras Presidency in British India. Had Kamala claims to ensure a deeper influence of her Indian heritage, she is patently lying to arouse the sentiments and emotions of the Indian American community. Thus far, Kamala Harris is also a Janus-faced politician to attract gullible people to her vote bank. One should not expect her to be a political angel upholding ethics, morals, and values. Her assets are her charisma and her legal background. And she too has learned the professional penchant to indulge in congenital lies to survive and prosper in messy politics of democracy. That's a fact. This is MS Spurti for Orange News 9 TV.
For unbiased, accurate, and in-depth news analysis, watch Orange News 9 TV on YouTube. Subscribe. Press bell icon, like, comment, and share. Edited and promoted by seasoned journalist M. S. Shankar.